Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and you are here today with me at my desktop. Yeah, it's my computer. I got some sweet Division wallpapers, and we're gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how I make a video. This is something that you guys actually asked for a long time ago. One person in specifically really asked for a video like this. That was Canadian guy. I do remember you. Sorry it took so long, man, but it's just something I kept putting on the back burner. I recorded it a couple times, and I absolutely hated it. And today I was like, all right, let's actually do this. Let's actually edit a video that I'm actually going to put up. So the video we're going to be working on today is the Warframe video that I just recorded. This is going to be going up on Monday. You guys are seeing this on Tuesday, so you'll have already watched that video. Now you get to see how I made it. It's not as complex as you think, especially for a video like that doesn't have a lot of editing, but nonetheless, you get to see the steps in the process, and I hope you enjoy just getting a little bit of insight into how do I do things. Definitely something that I put off that was very much spurred on by Kato and his live streaming of his actual editing. So here we have my Audacity footage. We're not going to play it because if I play it, then my other Audacity program stops recording. Just learned that today. But what I like to do once I've recorded audio, I use Audacity to record my base audio. So I record this while I'm playing the game, or if I'm recording over footage, I just use Audacity. Then I go back and I use the noise removal tool to take out these nasty bits, which are exhales. Now, you may think that you have to go through and just manually remove them all. No, that's insane. If you do that, you're insane. There's no reason to do that. You'd be insane. There's a great thing in the older builds of Audacity called noise removal. It's been changed in the newer version of Audacity, which is why I don't use it, because I don't think it works as well as the old noise removal tool, or at least I don't know how to make it work as well. I actually have a picture of these exact settings. If you wanted to go ahead and copy them, I'm using, I believe this is like 1.4 Audacity. You can find it on the internet. It's easy to find old builds of Audacity. We're going to go ahead and say get noise profile. So that's going to select this noise profile. It recognizes the exhale, and then we're going to double click on the entire file. We're going to say noise removal and hit OK. It's now going to go through and remove that noise from the entire clip. This is actually a really lengthy clip. This ended up being about 40-minute video, as you guys saw if you watched it. So it's going to go through, it'll clean this up. You have to be careful with the tool. If you pick something that has a audio like bit that's too close to your normal talking voice, you're actually going to start to remove some of that. And I've had issues with that where I just had to do it, and you may notice in the audio, you guys may have caught it a couple of times where the audio sounds a little bit suppressed every now and then. And that's exactly what happens. In this case, we're going to be all right with that exhale. It's going to clear up a lot of that. Most people leave it in. It's just something that I've come to hate. There's nothing I can do. The way my microphone works, the way the Blue Yeti works, it's just sensitive. It picks that up, and I don't have the ability to control my exhales in that manner. In fact, I know that I sometimes talk way too quick, which is why I run out of breath, and then that happens because I don't breathe when I talk. So something I need to work on nonetheless, something I've always been trying to work on. I feel like I nail it in some videos, but in others, I just completely forget it. So there we go. Look at that. Boom. You can see it even remove the one over here. Most of this audio is going to be nice and crisp and clean. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit File, Export Audio. We already have the Warframe export right there. You can see I've already done it, so we're all set and good to go. We're going to minimize that. I never like to close out a file, even though I've exported it in case something happens. Then what we're going to do is import it into a program called Adobe Auditions. So Warframe. You can see my wonderful weird names for my videos. And all I do in Auditions is I add a small effects rack. This just kind of helps. You know, the Yeti's a great mic. There's no doubt about that. But I like to add a little bit more bass, a little bit more limiter, just make everything sound a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and put that on. We can actually test it out here. Week with a little bit of Warframe. It was funny because I had planned on checking, and you can see it just sounds a little bit more oomph, right? It makes everything a little bit more feel like it's in the room with you. So we'll go ahead and apply that. That's going to take a little bit as well. I'll also usually slap like +3 decibels onto it as well, because my voice recordings are usually on a little bit of the lower spectrum. I do that intentionally with my Yeti to kind of eliminate any excess background noise there might be. It does a pretty good job. My room's pretty quiet when I record anyway, so it's not really an issue for me anymore. I have a pretty quiet PC these days as well. And it's well out of the way of the microphone. So that'll go through. In the meantime, while that's going, I'll go ahead and I will open up Adobe Premiere, which is my editing program. You can see I've already got a template set up that has my intro pre-made into the video, so I never have to add this in. That would just be a nightmare, and it would be completely unnecessary. I strongly recommend, if you're doing something like this, you have an intro or an outro, to build a template file that you can always load your audio and your video into, so you don't have to mess with this. So we're going to go ahead and import, right to my music section. That's where I needed to go. We're going to go ahead and import, where we go, raw capture. We're going to go ahead and import the Warframe footage, which is on my brand new solid state drive, my Samsung solid state drive, which is wicked fast. I've got a write speed on DxTory of 650 megabytes. That just makes me the happiest man alive. So what we're going to do inside of Auditions here is we're going to drag and drop the video and audio just like that. I like to keep it split like that so it's on a separate wave. Now right away I'm going to go ahead and throw a dip to black on this. That's going to give me some fade in, and then I'm going to do a exponential fade. And make sure that these are about the same length. I mess around with it sometimes. Certain videos I feel like it's nice to fade in a little bit slower, sometimes a little bit shorter. So we're gonna do this like right about there. Just kind of wing it, you know, nothing like deathly serious here. Okay, so the Auditions file is good to go. We're gonna do +3 on that. Now sometimes I'll actually run that effects rack twice. But I will bring down the mix. So the wetter it is, the more heavy the effects are going to affect the audio. You know what had happened in the time that I was gone, which I had a good feeling, and I actually kind of knew because I had been following the game somewhat, was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff had happened. So we'll do one more layer on that just because I like the way that sounds, you know? And that's what it's about, really, you know, just making it sound how you feel. I'm not looking to completely alter my voice. I'm just looking to, you know, make it sound a little bit more oomphy, right? That's the whole point. I mean, come on. That's what we've got technology for. Now, I don't know what the problem is, but ever since I started using my new recording drive, the audio files that get recorded from my PC are like stupid high volume. You can see the wavelength down here if you look at this. I'm using my finger. I have a mouse. Use the mouse, Tony. That's like off the bracket. So right away, we're going to kick that down about 20 decibels. So you're going to want to do -20 on that. Now, it's a balancing act once you get the audio in there to figure out like where you want the audio. What depends on the kind of video. Sometimes I want the audio to be more prominent. Like in this case, this was a live commentary playthrough, so I'm going to want you guys to hear more of the gunplay and the shooting and everything because it's important to me. It's part of the experience. But it can't get to the point where it's irritating to listen to. So I do a lot of playbacks, I do a lot of testing and a lot of listening. I do it all on my computer. I used to try doing it on multiple resources. So I would like have it on my phone too and be like, well, how's this sound on the phone? You can't do that. Pick one thing as your baseline for your audio and just leave it at that. You're never going to make it sound great across all platforms. Some people with like iPod headphones, some people listening to on their phone, it's going to sound different. There's nothing you can do about it. So we're going to go ahead and hit the export button here as well. It's going to automatically name this with a 1 on it. That's okay by me. I've just gotten used to that naming system. It doesn't take long to export. Usually by the time I minimize this, open the project template, hit Control-I, head over to my audio, which is going to be under my Bravo drive. As soon as my computer catches up, it's like, dude, you're doing too much stuff at once. Yep, there we go. Come on. Come on. I'm trying to think what I may have left open on accident. OBS just isn't always an exceptionally efficient tool. That's the real problem here. There we go. All right. Audio. Warframe 1. Open. That's going to import it into here for us. Now, I'm going to show you guys something that's going to scare you. It's going to scare you very much so. But this is the way I've been doing things. This is the way that I've never had a problem doing things. And this is the way I will continue to do things. Drag the audio to the end here. Now, what we're going to want to listen for is a key click. And that was it. So at that point, what I did, I started recording Audacity. Audacity was running. And I pressed start recording on OBS because that's what I'm using to capture my desktop here. And I clicked that as hard as I could because that leaves behind an audio signature in the Audacity file, which I can then line up, cut, and use to sync my audio. And you know what? It's worked fine for the last 3 going on 4 years for me. And there we go. So now we're going to have this extra chunk of me coughing. And then if we go up there, we can see where we need to be. So what we're going to do now is make sure that we keep the audio in line, but we cut it so things don't get out of sync here. I'm going to probably bring that in a little bit more, but we'll highlight both these, drag them on back. There we go. And let's just get a little bit more zoom action going on here. And then we will cut this back just a tad more, because no reason to have all that empty space there. Unless you want it, you know, maybe you just want a big pause. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that, silky smooth. Now we're gonna go click somewhere in the video where there's some gunplay going on. Ketogenesis of the Pipcast, and of his own channel. There we go. Other thing we're going to want to check here is our sequence setting. Make sure we're on 60 frames per second, because I'm definitely recording this at way more than 60 frames per second. This game was running at about 100 with that wonderful new solid state drive. Thank you, mother. That was a gift from my mom this Christmas. And oh my god, the luxury of not having to worry about your frames dropping when recording with DxStory. So I think we're going to want to take this down a little bit, make sure we don't have both audio files selected there, because that would suck. We'll probably do 5. 5 is usually a good round number. It's actually not an even number at all, but... Did I shoot anyone throughout the course of this video? Jeez, man, I'm such a scrub. Alright, I'm happy with that. I think that's a good balance. Now what we're going to do is go to the end of the video, because like I said, this is not a heavy edited video. Sometimes, you know, I'll forget something, I won't mention it. What I've recently started doing is going into Photoshop, making some nice text things with a little bit of shadow on them, and I will go ahead and I will pop them right into the video to kind of inform you guys, which is always awesome. I did a little bit of humor at the end of this one, or at least a terrible attempt at it. Okay, so what we're gonna do before we even continue with this is get our dip to black on there, get our exponential fade. We're gonna bring this out a little bit. Oops, wrong button there. You gotta make sure you're zoomed in enough sometimes. Audition's just like, I'm sorry, Premiere likes to be weird sometimes. I like to listen to the end a few times, just kind of make sure everything flows out nicely. Really gonna do that. Just gonna wipe your right on the floor. Cool, bros. Sometimes it's fun to leave a little bit of black space, let it fade out real slow, you know, give it a little bit of a cinematic feel. I don't know. These are the crazy things that go through my mind when I talk about this. I was really upset, too, that I didn't have my webcam on me. My brother's borrowing it, because I was going to talk about how often I stroke my beard while doing these commentaries. While doing these commentaries. I actually do catch myself stroking my beard while I do my commentaries, and then it shows up in the audio, and it's weird. But no, while I'm editing and thinking. There we go. Okay, so we're good to go there. Now at this point, we would just go ahead and save this as something other than the template. Don't overwrite the template. We'll just say Warframe return. Returning to Warframe. Return to Witch Mountain. Return to Warframe. Because if you overwrite your template, then the next time you load up your template and you don't have the footage, it's just going to be a disaster. So make sure you never overwrite your template. Your template is always your template, and it only contains your intro and outro or anything that you would put in every single video. One that was on that list, and I think Warframe's been on that list for a while, and it's just gotten significantly better over time. Bit of a second listen. We'll play it from the beginning here. Just make sure, I like to make sure the intro audio is at roughly the same level as my voice audio. Gentlemen, welcome back to gaming. Volt's over there just like electricity. That's it. We'll save it one more time just to double check. At this point, we would go ahead and hit export media, which okay, should pop up on my screen. Cool. So this is basically all good to go. You want to click match source just to make sure the frame rate's right. This is an important thing to check down here. See this video clip right here, where it says the amount of time. Because what can happen, and I've done it before, is you leave a tiny piece of audio like at the 50-minute mark. You forgot about it. It was just down there hanging out. And then you render out 50 minutes of video, and at one point the video goes completely black, and everyone's like, why is the video still going? They comment, like, Tony, your video, there's like 16 minutes of blackness. What happened? I don't know. Yeah, I've done that. You guys have seen me do that. What are you going to do? Obviously, we would change the output name. I would put it into one of my many well-organized folders, which would probably just go in commentaries. We're not going to do that right now because my computer will probably start to die having OBS, as well as all of my memory being used to render out this video. Now, the last piece of the puzzle, of course, is opening up Photoshop and doing our thumbnail. Yay, thumbnails. You guys want to see all my wonderfully organized folders? I'll give you an insight as to how I organize my computer. So every single thing that I play, if it's anything that I feel like I'm going to do even more than one video for, it gets its own folder or its own Photoshop saved folder, so that way I don't have to keep remaking thumbnails. I hate remaking thumbnails. They are tiny files. I might as well have preset ones for everything, and then I need to go back and delete all the old ones. I just kind of forget to do that sometimes. So in this case, I've put a Warframe one inside of the Let's Play folder. Usually random Let's Play stuff that I'm not sure about yet. I'm not sure if it's going to have an extended series will go right here. So let's open up that Warframe one. I've already made the thumbnail, but I want to change it. I don't actually like the idea of there's a lot here. I just want to say, worth playing, I guess I would say. It's worth playing. It's worth a play. I don't actually know. I'm like thinking this up right now, because even though you guys have saw the video already, I actually just finished recording it, and now so yeah, you know what I mean. Let's see, worth a play. I like the idea of that. Worth a play. Warframe. Worth a play. Or worth playing. Is worth playing better? I feel like worth playing might be better. I don't actually know, man. Worth playing. I don't know. See, I'm really picky about my thumbnails and about my titles of my videos. Like, people may think it's just about, you know, I just pick the clickbait thing. No, the thing is, you want something that draws into people's attention. So in theory, it's clicky. Like, it baits people into clicking it. But you're not going to lie to them. You still want it to say what the video is about. That's a big thing. That's a big, big thing. And actually, I'm not 100% sold on the picture I have here. This was just something I grabbed as kind of a reference point. What I've actually gone and done, if we go to YouTube... Okay, bravo, wrong thing. I've got so many folders and files here. Raw screen. That's going to be where my photo captures go. Let's open up this bad boy. I actually really like this one. I mean, I like taking my own in-game screenshots and then sort of using them for my footage. I think we'll beef this up just a little bit. So we'll do 110 on the height and the width. And then we can move this. And then that way we can kind of center and we can get out of the way the sort of council that was there. But I don't know. At the same time, I'm actually kind of really into this sort of Volt image here. This is an image of Volt kind of just doing his thing from the Codex, I believe. It's hard, you know? Like, sometimes you want your own stuff. I like the big thing there, but sometimes it's just better to use, like, stock wallpaper. Or, actually, you know, this is something you can capture in-game, so it's not like it's out of game. I've learned, like, the less stuff going on in the actual thumbnail image, the wallpaper that you use, or whatever, you know, picture you use, the better, because it just comes through as more clarity. People can better recognize what it is. Like, at a glance, this is a complex and confusing image. There's no doubt about that. It's kind of like, what? What's going on? I don't really know. You know what? I'm just going to leave it as a surprise. You guys won't actually know. Actually, you'll know. You'll already have seen what I've done because you are in the future. You have been to the future. I'm still in the past right now. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to show you guys the final result. Basically, all I would do at this point is I would save the PSD to make sure it's like good for the past. Then I would do Control-Shift-S, and we're going to save it as a JPEG. I don't really see a reason to do PNGs for thumbnails. They're freaking thumbnails. And we would save it as Warframe. And Photoshop people will tell you that you don't need this much quality. It doesn't matter to me. Does not matter to me because I'm not using this for a hardcore, you know, what would you call it, graphic design perspective. It's a thumbnail. As long as it looks clean, it looks crisp, and it gets my point across, that's what matters to me. That would be it. I mean, at that point, we would go ahead, we would open up the YouTubes, we would hit upload, and we would get things rocking and rolling. You know, we would put our title in, we put our description in, a lot of that's going to be preset, and boom. Maybe an hour later, depending on the length of the video, maybe less, it would be on YouTube. I would go ahead, set it to public at that point. Once it hits 1080p, 60 FPS, I never push a video out until it's fully processed. I know some people will just throw it up at 480p or 720. It happens sometimes when I'm at work and I have to schedule a video to go up while I'm at work, but most of the time I like to I have it set up so it's good to go. You know, it's rocking and rolling. That's the kind of thing that I like to do. So that's it, guys. That's how I make a video. That's how I made that Warframe video. Obviously, some videos require a lot more editing, a lot more, you know, just work, and some videos are simple like that. Obviously, to some of you guys, that may seem incredibly complex because you've never done it, but with a little bit of practice, it's actually fairly easy. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this inside look on how I make a video. If you have any questions for me, anything you'd like to ask me that I didn't talk about here, feel free to give it a go. This is kind of the video to find out how and why I do certain things when I make a video. If you want to know, ask me now and I will be sure to respond. Thank you guys for watching. Please go check out that Warframe video if you already haven't. Give me your feedback on what your thoughts are on Warframe, whether or not you'd like to see more of it on the channel, and I will see you in the next one.